Hi there and welcome. I want to thank you so much for being here. My goal really today is to get any questions that you may have answered. And it's always my ongoing mission to educate you as a parent of a child with autism to help you understand the possibilities that still are available for your child in all areas. Now, the word recovery means to regain health. So some people have a hard time believing that, although my son's diagnosis was removed after we were told that he could not get better one day. 10 years ago, actually 15 years ago now, he was diagnosed with autism. And I was told to drug him and try behavioral therapies, and there was nothing else we could do for him but manage his symptoms. But fortunately, my background as a craniosacral therapist of 30 years studying the brain let me know that the brain can and does heal. It's a scientific fact. But I didn't know that much about autism. So I dove in and I did my own research, and probably like you've been doing. There's a lot of hunting and pecking around the internet, reading as many books as I could, calling people, interviewing experts even back then. Now I put them on my podcast, just to really get as educated as I could about what I could do for my son. And I'm very thankful that I did it because today, again, he no longer has the symptoms of autism. Now, I've helped other parents to actually have their child's diagnosis removed as well. But I know that's a lot to swallow for most people. And I always want to say, again, the definition of recovery being to regain health means that your child can improve. Now, that means to get the best quality of life possible. And your child may still can keep their diagnosis of autism, and that's fine. There's no problem with that. What I'm looking for and what I really want to do is help you, again, improve their independence, help them be healthy because their immune system's usually weak, and they're usually really loaded with a lot of toxins and inflammation that are affecting their brain so that they really cannot truly be who they are. Now, I always want to say that your child's not an angry person if they have violent outbursts. It's that their brain is so toxic and inflamed that they can't maintain their mood stability. Well, once we reduce the inflammation, the toxic load, often they can. I hear parents all the time either say, "Oh, my child was so hyperactive," or "My child was had screaming tantrums all day long, and now they're so calm and relaxed." And kids who were their parents were told their children could never speak. Literally, they were told by specialists that their child would never speak. Today, are speaking clearly and endlessly with no problems. And others have greatly improved at any age. One mom, if you haven't heard, on the membership page here, naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership, where is the link to join the membership too, because enrollment's only open until tomorrow night. So don't delay if you're going to join. I'm doing this to help get you off of the fence and get you as much as you feel that you need to help educate you, help you feel comfortable with any decision, and really to help you to support you, because I know the journey is hard, to make it easier. And so there's not the hunting and pecking around the internet. Really, it's a way to streamline the process because I took over a decade of research and I've put it into a step-by-step roadmap for you. Whether you are new to the autism journey, maybe you just had a recent diagnosis, or you've recently been diagnosed, or like this mom Karen, who on the membership page here at the link you'll hear from her. Her son's 27 years old. He had only had 2-word sentences before she came to the program. And imagine 27 years. There was a lot of not giving up on her end. She kept going. She found my program. She joined. And today, her son is reading books with her and is totally verbal. I think that was after about 5 months in the program, he started getting really verbal. And she's just astounded. And there's so many possibilities available for your child. And that's really, again, what I want to help you to gain is whatever the optimum possibilities are and find those out. And the way to do that is by really having the right roadmap. I know a lot of practitioners will toss a few supplements at you or do a couple of things here and there, or maybe you've heard about diet, but nothing else. And hopefully you watched my masterclass on Saturday. And if not, on this link here, naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership, There is also the replay to the masterclass available on that page. So if you missed it or any part of it, or you want to go back and revisit it before enrollment closes too, and the link for that goes down at midnight tomorrow night, Thursday night, it goes down. So please, please don't delay. But I was very thorough in that masterclass, teaching for 3.5 hours to really give you as much education on all of the stages, because a lot of the times we'll hear about diet, but we don't hear about other things. And it's so important to understand everything, the not only the diet and gut healing and how much that affects the brain and their behaviors and ability to think, but also mood control, stability, speech, sleep, all of those things, including heavy metal detoxification that's safe and natural, and then the co-infections. We talked about mold biotoxins, Lyme's disease, PANS or PANDAS, which is strep, and basically it means too that the immune system is attacking the brain. So all of these things are so, so important for you to know and understand as a parent, regardless of your decision. I want you to know that you can get your child better and know what you need to do. So that's what I wanted to make sure. And I want to make sure that I answer your questions. Hi, Ula. Nice to hear from you. What are your thoughts on chiropractic adjustments for children on the spectrum? What's your experience? I think chiropractic is excellent. And as a craniosacral therapist, I also know that the occiput, which is the bone right at the back of your head, right where it meets the soft tissue of your neck, that bone is very commonly subluxated or faulted, pushed out of balance in birth. And when it is, the vagus nerve branch there is affected. Now, the vagus nerve has a lot to do with digestion, so digestive issues could be part of that. And the same with if the vagus nerve is overactive or being pinched or out of balance in any way, because it directly also connects with the stomach again, that it can cause a lot of anxiety and anxiousness. So craniosacral is excellent, but also chiropractic adjustment. Now you want to go to somebody who really is a quality chiropractor, and somebody who understands pediatrics, and if they understand autism, all the more better. But on my website, if you go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com, and in the search bar, you type in chiropractic, I did an interview with a chiropractic doctor who is a pediatric chiropractic doctor. So he works on kids and he kind of specializes in autism. So it's a really great informative interview. And next to that interview on that post page is a link to find a specific pediatric chiropractor that should be educated for our even greater needs. But yeah, I'm a big believer in chiropractic, and just like with any practitioner, I always say, that's why I give links to some of these specialists. Call them, talk to them, interview them, see if you get a good feel for the person as well as their education, how much experience have they had, just so that you get a good idea for that person and their education and experience in any realm, because you want to make sure that it feels like a right fit for you. But a lot of practitioners, you want to make sure that they have the right skills and education for your child, because sometimes they might not be as skilled as you want them to be. And so I think it's always good to just get a good feel for a person and then use your intuition beyond that. But there are some good links on that chiropractic page, and listen to that podcast interview too. It's really good. Yeah, definitely. I think chiropractic is excellent. I was the back office assistant for a chiropractor who's an applied kinesiology doctor, which means they do a lot of muscle testing for learning how the organ weaknesses and nutritional weaknesses are in the body. I worked for her as her back office assistant for almost 10 years. So a lot of experience there. Yana, do you space them apart from other supplements? Them. Oh, zeolites. Okay. Let me see. Sorry, questions are jumping in here. Let me back up a little bit. Okay. Correct way to take zeolites. Now, so there are two kinds of zeolites, and I mentioned in the masterclass a bit. There's the regular zeolites, and this is from the link I give you. I don't promote all zeolites out there because there are a lot of synthetic ones, a lot of ones that are bad. They're not the ones that I linked to. Again, you can still get the download if you missed it for the masterclass. If you go to watch the masterclass in the first 5 minutes or so, the download link is there. But the Pure Body regular zeolites are ones that you can take even every few hours all day to help detoxify, because the cells in the body are always detoxifying all day long and all night long. So it's really good to support that. If you're talking about the Pure Body Extra Strength, that is for heavy metal detoxification. And that would be something where the muscle testing is handy, and I do teach it in the program. How to know what dosages your child needs in the beginning, and then how to slowly titrate things up. That's another really good thing to know, is that you need to know how to give a supplement to your child and what dosage is right for them, because this isn't cookie cutter and everybody's different and their needs are different. The extra strength for the heavy metal one is maybe start with a spray or two a day, and then, see how, watch them for symptoms, and then, slowly increase from there a couple times a day. But again, that would be very individualized. Sorry, thought I was going to sneeze. Yeah, so do I space them apart? Actually, the zeolites can be taken with or without food, or with or without other supplements. They're very easy that way. And for anybody who's new to them, they're liquid. So they're super easy to give to a child. You can drop them straight in the mouth, or spray it in their mouth, or drop them into water and have them drink the water, anything like that. Some people mix them in with food. That's the easy thing. So they don't have to be spaced out from other food or supplements. They can be taken with anything else. Flora, hi. What is the correct dosage of CBD for a 7-year-old child, and how many times a day should I give it to my daughter? So good question. CBD, the beautiful thing about it is that you can give it multiple times a day, and it's only beneficial. You don't really give too much. Too much won't hurt your child. Usually, if somebody's not getting the results from it, I'll say increase the dosage, so they're probably not getting enough. And I have listened to at conferences and interviewed experts on this, and the cannabinoids, that's what C stands for in the CBD, how they affect the cells. It's best for the cells actually to have those receptors activated multiple times a day. So you're actually even more beneficial with the use of CBD if you give it 2 or 3 times a day. And that's why it's nice too. I actually just this morning, one of the moms in my membership program in the forum was, somebody was saying how they gave it to their child right before they went to school every day, which is definitely a good idea, helping to keep them calm. It's great at night before sleep. In the master class, I talked about how it's really good to give some CBD right before they eat, because it calms the sensory issues down and can be really helpful for a picky eater. So you can give it multiple times a day, and that also can be taken with or without food. Okay, let me back up here a little bit. Make sure I'm not missing anybody's questions. Bex, which Karen is the one with the 27-year-old? So if you go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership, it is right there on that page. If you scroll down, her name, it says Karen on that one. There are, I believe, 4 videos of testimonial kind of short interviews that people gave, and Karen shares hers in that. So you can listen to it on that page. Let's see here. Sahi, thank you for your knowledge and for sharing. You're welcome, and it's my pleasure. I'm so happy you're here. Any advice on how to control pica? Yeah, pica is, for others watching this as well, it's, they want to eat everything. And this is common in children who have nutritional deficiencies, or may have once in their life had severe nutritional deficiencies. So commonly, you'll see a lot of mouthing. They want to put everything in their mouth. That usually means there's a combination of a couple things. could be parasites, but definitely some leaky gut. Their body, bottom line, is not absorbing the nutrition or getting the nutrition from the food that they're eating. And you might even have a child that's eating a decent enough diet, but if their body isn't absorbing them because leaky gut is allowing undigested foods into the bloodstream and leaking the foods out before the body, the gut can digest it all, or that the gut is so ill it's not properly absorbing, or if there are parasites that are eating the nutrition from the food. These are all of many of the causes. So the answer is how to work with pica is to heal up the gut. First of all, you got to balance out pathogenic bacteria, which means not only parasites, but candida. Again, in the masterclass, I talked about how they have little corkscrew legs on them, and they literally bore holes in the lining of the digestive tract. So that's why right away I start everybody on, transitioning into the diet, which needs to be, kind of a slow process for a lot of parents because their kids are addicted to the bad foods. But we don't want to feed the candida. We want to starve it out because we also want to lower the inflammation in the gut from those foods, but also starving the candida. So it's a twofold process there, or piece of why, well, it's actually multiple pieces why we're doing things. But again, I talked about gluten and casein, not only inflammatory, but also gluten being, the crops being sprayed with glyphosate, which also tears up the gut. If you've got mold exposure in your home or your child is exposed to mold on a regular basis, mold and Lyme's disease, another one, they both will eat away and weaken the gut and cause digestive problems. So all of these things need to be worked with. That's why, again, I'm not just okay, let's just do diet, nothing else. Because if you want the optimum results and you want all of it, that's the best that can be. You need to work with diet, the toxins, reducing the inflammation, and the co-infections. It's all very important. If some of those get left out, then you're probably not going to see the results that you want to see. And that's why I think a lot of people say, oh, I've had my child on a good diet for a really long time. We've done some detoxification, but they seem to plateau or they're just not getting better. And it's usually because of those co-infections. Other things that need to be addressed naturally, safely, and properly. So that's very important too. So yeah, thank you. That was helpful. Ula, I appreciate you telling me about MRT2. You are very, very welcome. Becky, hi. The child was diagnosed 20 years ago. There have been many advances in testing. We're trying to find a provider in our area for testing to help determine what issues are contributing to his symptoms. We reached out to previous providers, but have not been helpful. Yeah, that was my story and many, many, many people's story. Spending a lot of money, but not really, they don't really know what they're doing and helping you the way that you need help or your child does. Let's just say that. How do you find a qualified provider in your area to do testing? So Becky, my answer with testing, and my member's going to tune to this, I think most of it is a waste of time and money. Now, I don't tell you what to do and what not to do. I'm just giving you this based on over a decade of research and trial and error and experience and working with other parents. If you go and do testing, you're going to find, oh yeah, they have, all the gut issues. Yeah, they have heavy metal toxins. Yeah, this and that. And I can tell you that the answers are yes, 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 and yes right now, probably. So if you're spending that money, then you still need to go, well, what do you do about it? So what we do in the membership is we start in the beginning in a sequential order, slowly, because it takes time, one thing at a time, to, again, work with all of the issues in a balanced order, because we want to set the foundation first with the gut healing, diet, and some supplements to help support detoxification before we're moving on to the rest, because we want to make sure that we're covering all our bases. So we want to support the system first in detoxification. Then we move into natural, safe, heavy metal detoxification, and the co-infections. Now, these are all worked with naturally and safely with products that I have found in over a decade of research again. And the organic herbal formulas that we use are proprietary and were developed by the doctor who allows my active members to use them through my guidance. They're broad spectrum, which means that they cover a lot of things to balance in the system. Not just the co-infection that we're working on, although they do target those types of issues that co-infection brings on, but they also are immune modulating and help the immune system to strengthen it. So what this means, because we never want to boost the immune system in autism. Hopefully, again, you saw the masterclass where I talked about that. We need to modulate or regulate it, because an overactive immune system in a child with autism means autoimmune issues, and they're already usually close to or in an autoimmune response. So it's very important not to just be boosting up that immune system. So my bottom line answer is, if we work safely and naturally with all of the pieces and cover A to Z, don't leave anything out, and you don't have to worry about anything you're using doing any detriment, it's only going to benefit the system, then that's what we do in the membership program. And the purpose of me having it all in one place is to save you the time and money. And testing can be very expensive, and then you might not even get the proper results from them. Many times for heavy metals or Lyme, various things, they're not tested for properly, or the results don't come up. You could even have a test that says that your child's negative in something, and they can be positive. So they're very unreliable as well. And then usually practitioners want to throw antibiotics or other drugs and medications at them, and those aren't the answers. The whole purpose here is we want to get to the cause of the issue, not just mask a symptom. So we cover that safely and naturally in the membership program, and nothing is left out. So you don't need to really spend your time and money doing testing. We just start from the beginning and go from A to Z. Liz, I appreciate you. Thank you, Liz. That's very sweet. I appreciate, honestly, you for being here, because you're here to learn what you can do for your child, and that's who I want to talk to. Greetings from India. All right, Brij. Yeah. Flora, thanks. You're welcome. Dominique. Yeah, that's the beauty too. We have parents now who have been in the program in over 40 countries worldwide, from small villages in Africa to the US and Europe and everything in between. It's wonderful to see so many people, and it shows us really what an epidemic autism is. But I'm grateful to be able to provide the resources. Dominique, thank you for this. You're welcome. Any suggestions on what to do when a 7-year-old child is great in all other areas except in school with teachers? From time to time, they randomly cry, run away, scream, and throw tantrums for not getting their way. Perfect behavior at home and in public with parents. It sounds like they might not be feeling safe with the teacher for some reason. The other thing to look at too is if they're in school, although the symptoms usually carry on to home, but schools are notorious for having mold. And if there are mold spores in the classroom or anywhere that your child is exposed to them at school, they will increase the behaviors, because the mold is creating more inflammation in the brain and causing more gut issues and just creating more of the chaos again for the brain. So that's a possibility. There are multiple things here too with CBD could be very helpful, but you got to get on working with the mold properly. We do that with the herbal formulas in the program, but it's also important to see, and it's hard, I know, with schools, but to see if they have mold, known mold, because a lot of times mold is not seen, or they'll say, oh, we used to, but we cleaned it up. Most of the time it wasn't cleaned up properly. If it's only at school and with teachers, like if there are other things that you do, for example, if they're go to therapists and they're okay there and it's not happening there. What is it about the school environment? Is it the teacher? Does your child not trust the teacher? Do they not feel safe with them? If they have any PANS symptoms, they'll have OCD and anxiety and clinginess at home as well, and maybe then it's coming out in tantrums at school. Um, but then again, always looking. I worked with this one mom who was a member in the program, and her son had been improving greatly. He was one she was told would never speak, and just anyway, he's now speaking and riding his bike, which he couldn't do before because he didn't have motor control. But so he had been doing much better, and all of a sudden he got really just started regressing. And she said, "What is going on?" So in the forum, I would go back and forth. I'm asking her questions. We're troubleshooting. And it came down to, she said, "Oh my gosh, he got his hair cut and the barber shop was filled with mold." I mean, it was an old building and it had mold, and her son was triggered by the mold spores. So it's very common. Now, when you say, why can't a child learn and think properly? There are all of these reasons that we work with, from the gut affecting the brain and its ability to focus and learn, from the heavy metal toxicity, but definitely from the co-infections, mold and Lyme and strep, all of these things. Mold will really, really affect the brain and your ability to focus and think, and so will parasites greatly, as well as the gut, because the gut really controls the brain. So again, A to Z, right? You don't want to just do one little piece and not cover others, because then you're not going to get to the whole thing. If the mold is affecting the gut and the spores are there and they're still keeping the problem in the gut there, then diet and gut healing supplements are going to help, but they're not going to take care of the problem. You got to get to the cause again, but you've got to reach all the things that are causing the problem. So there's a lot of reasons why focus and ability to learn is such a problem, and it does have to do with, again, all of these pieces with the gut brain axis and neurotransmitters that, again, in the master class I talked about dopamine and serotonin, things that control mood, sleep, appetite, ability to focus. Those brain messages are made in the gut. Then you've got mold. Mold spores directly affect the brain, and so does Lyme. But mold is such a hidden piece, and parasites. They're very, very, very common and very, very commonly missed. Most tests will miss them. So we work with them, again, naturally and safely in the membership program. Very simply, too, there are only 2 of the herbal formulas, and one of them you start at 1 drop a day for a week, and then slowly a droplet up. And then the second one is started at 30 days, and you just do those for together for about 3 months with just, your drops. You can drop them in water, or have your child drink them, or straight into the mouth. They actually taste good, so they're not a problem. But you can have your child take them. After a couple of months on them, I think it's 3 in total for the 2 formulas. Then we take a couple of months off and then do it again, because parasites are cyclic. You might even notice that your child's doing pretty well, and then all of a sudden, kind of about a 9-month cycle. So think about human gestation. It's very similar with parasites. Like, your child's doing pretty good, and then all of a sudden they're doing horrible. We'll look back, if other than exposed to mold, other things like that, or a bad foods that they got a hold of that their bodies have a reaction to, and toxins in food too. Look back, 9 months ago and see if you noticed your child having an episode back then too. So I tend to be thorough, as you can tell. So, hi, Tammy. Just missed what you were saying on how to heal the gut. I have a 2.5-year-old on the spectrum. Definitely need to heal the gut along with my 8-year-old that has had constipation, compacted bowels. So, interestingly, most people think of Tammy, of diarrhea just being, we talk about poop a lot here, of diarrhea just being the symptom of parasites, but constipation is a very, very common symptom of parasites. So again, as I just mentioned, we use these herbal formulas in the program. First, we start with, as I mentioned, the very beginning, we want to start laying the foundation of healing the gut. So you're going to start with the diet, right? You're going to start with the right foods and start eliminating more and more of the bad foods over time because your child's addicted to them, and the pathogenic bacteria in their gut that feeds off of sugar is also craving them. So it's a process to wean them off of those foods, and to help that will start to help reduce the inflammation, start help healing the gut, starving out the candida that's boring holes in it. We have some support supplements that help with that as well, with healing the gut. There are also some support supplements that are very important to help support the detoxification pathways, because um, even as we start to change the diet, there will be some detoxification that's going on, and as it's called die off. And when you have the candida or other bad bacteria start to die, they release toxins into the body. Well, our kids already have backed up liver, which is their detox organ, backed up detoxification pathways. You've probably heard of methylation, the MTHFR gene. They're usually having problems in children with autism. The work we do can repair all that, but it's a process. So you got to support the detox pathways in this process. So that's all part of it. Before we start moving forward, like then using, possibly the, which will help with the constipation too, helping with starting to work with the parasites. Parasites also hate garlic. So you can either feed your child some foods with garlic right away, or there actually are freeze-dried garlic, natural garlic supplements. Make sure there aren't any bad fillers. You can pick up even at the health food store, and see if you notice that makes any kind of difference for them as well. But yeah, there's a lot we can do there for sure. Becky, thank you. You're very welcome. Maria, Pakistan, welcome. I love seeing where everybody's from. Elsa, my son won't stop walking at night. He barely sleeps and mumbling. What should I do? He's a teenager now. So sleep is a really big issue in our kids. And part of that has to do with the gut, the lack of serotonin being built. Serotonin, that brain messenger in the gut that I mentioned, also builds melatonin, which helps us sleep. We want to balance out their blood sugar, and sometimes giving a small handful of almonds before bed, some type of a protein source that's healthy before bed, to actually help stabilize their blood sugar, because the candida, the yeast, it will eat away at the foods and create a sugar imbalance while we're sleeping because we're fasting. So sometimes that can help kids sleep a little bit, but low serotonin can definitely affect sleep. Gut issues can definitely affect sleep. Mold is a big one too, definitely affects sleep. So again, multiple systems being affected in the body that can all help. CBD is to get worked on. CBD is very helpful for sleep as well, to help with that. Yeah, I have parents. There was one mom, if you watch the masterclass, I shared what she had said, that her daughter, I think, was 8 years old, and she had never slept through the night in her life. And I think it was about 4 months into the program, and she was sleeping through the night. And it was the whole family was just relieved, because, if you're like you, if your son's up at night, you're probably not getting a good solid night's sleep either. And that ends up, wearing you down as much as them and anybody else in the household that might be being affected. So yeah, sleep is a big issue that can be definitely helped. Flora, is there anything you can advise me for my 7-year-old daughter who is nonverbal and cannot properly hold anything, a pen, or write? Yeah, Flora, if you, again, watch the masterclass, one of the moms who's currently in the program, she has 2 daughters on the spectrum, and her older daughter I'm not sure if she's junior high or high school. She could not hold a pen. Her mom said she thought she was going to have to get a scribe for school. It was like almost impossible. We worked with gut healing, started did some detoxification, and worked with her. Um, Dopamine has a lot to do with the part of the brain that will help with fine motor skills. And so anyway, by healing the gut, starting to do some detox work, because her daughters come together, her daughter's writing on everything. Her daughter was so stressed in school, she wouldn't even try to write anymore because she was so frustrated because she wanted to write, but she couldn't hold the pen and she couldn't get the writing down. She just couldn't do it. And the mom said it was causing her dreadful stress. Well, after doing some gut healing work for her daughter, I think it was 3 months into the program, and her daughter is now writing on everything. And she even wrote the teacher. She said that her daughter wrote her teacher a Valentine's Day poem, and the teacher was just blown away, like could not believe the differences in the child. And I told her too. I said, "Watch, she's going to be a famous writer someday, and she's going to be able to say." Once upon a time, I couldn't even write. Now I write, because now she's writing on everything. Even the mom said, writing on my walls. The mom said, I don't even care because I'm so happy to see her writing. So yes, it definitely can be helped. Reethi, can you explain your program? Yes. So how it works is you go to the link here, naturalrecoveringautism.com/membership. And you click on join. There are 2 payment options. You choose the one that works for you. On that page, you'll see them. The page also gives more information about the program, what it offers you as well. Once you join, within 5 minutes in your email inbox, you'll have an email from us that says, welcome and your first steps, which gives you your login details because it's a private membership site with a password that's password protected, and you'll give you your login details and your first steps on how to get started. You go in, there's a start here, just kind of gives you a short video, shows you the lay of the land on the website, and then you go to the introduction page, and again, it gives you 1, 2, 3, where to start. Because I release the entire program all at once, only because sometimes there are 1 or 2 things, especially with the co-infections like we've been talking about, where, okay, we're laying the foundation with diet and some detox and gut healing supplements initially, but you need to start the parasite formula soon. So I don't want to just say, okay, well, in 30 days, you'll have access to that. That's why the program is released all at once. But I want you to stay using it in a sequential order because I don't want you to get overwhelmed. The whole purpose is to do this slowly and safely, one thing at a time. And I even have on the supplement page at the bottom is a PDF that gives the supplement usage, it calls supplement usage checklist, to kind of give you an idea. And everybody's timeline will be a little different because each child's a little different too. But you come in and you ask me your questions in the forum if there's something that comes up along the way, and I'll get back to you within 24 hours. So there's ongoing support. And again, that's not limited. I know people say, oh, you get 5 weeks of, me answering your questions. No, for as long as you're a member, you have access to the forum. Like I said, there's a lot of great answers already in there for you to look at. If you don't see your question answered, you just ask me there. I'll get back to you again within about 24 hours. You follow the sequential order of the roadmap that it's laid out in. You'll see a little troubleshooting guide. So if things come up along the way, kind of gives you some guidance on what to do. But basically, you just start at the beginning. Even if you're somebody who's been on this journey for a long time, you'll still notice that you want to start in the beginning. Okay, you want to start the diet if you're already on diet. And we do have a PDF for, okay, if you're called seasoned, you're seasoned, you've got your child on some supplements, you've been doing diet for a while, where do I begin? So it'll show you what to do in that case. Otherwise, I still want everybody to really make sure that they're following the foundational aspects first with the proper gut healing diet, which I give you. And there's even diet like guidelines or recipes and cookbooks and 7-day meal plan example, just to help guide you. There are vegetarian options for vegetarians. Just there's a lot to gut healing and transitioning a picky eater PDF to help you with all of those things. The program's been going for 4.5 years now. So, we've really streamlined things into, you know, the questions that had come up that, trying to make always working on it to help simplify it as much as we can. So just, and get all questions answered too. Like, okay, there's a lot of issues with picky eating, in the beginning. So let's give a guide for how to help with that. So that's basically it. You follow one thing at a time from the beginning, and you just do it in a sequential order on your child's timeline. There is no timeline to it. There's no hurrying up. There's no keeping up. You have 24/7 access to the member sites. You can look at it whenever it's convenient for you at home or on the go. You can look at it on your mobile phone if you like. So it has all of those places to access it for ease. And yeah, basically you just kind of start with that first steps email, and the introduction page will kind of tell you where to go, and one thing at a time, slow and steady. I don't want anybody to try to go too fast, because then we'll kind of get pushed into die-off reactions, which I'll warn you right now will most likely happen, because they do for most kids at some point. But we do it slowly and safely and have enough of the binders in place and things to help reduce that. Yeah, it's basically laid out. I know personally what it's like to be searching through the internet and trying to figure out what to do. So not only have I researched out the top, what I think are 5% of products for our kids' specific needs to get the best results for each particular need of this process, but I also have laid them out in a sequential order to follow so that you know how to do it. Because, there's the what and the why, but there's also the how. And that's what the program really is able to give you. But I have simplified it as best I can, but I am available for answering questions, of course, in the forum. Maria, how to join the masterclass. So the masterclass and now the membership page to join are all on the same page currently, naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership. At the top of it, you'll see the masterclass replay that you can watch, and then all the information about the program and the links to join the program as well. Everything is on this one page here until midnight tomorrow night, Thursday, July 22nd at midnight. All of that will go down. So please, enrollment's open until then. So please join before then. Don't miss the deadline. And if you want to watch the masterclass, again, make sure that you watch it while it is still live, and it's again on that page. So yes, that's where you find everything else of you too. So yeah, it's available for you. Everything is at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership right now. Let's see here. You back up a little bit. Flora, your daughter has general motor problems. Yep, motor problems are very common. Again, gut, neurotransmitters in the gut could be, it's all systems of the body are affected by the different toxins and inflammation. And it's really, there are some things that we know, we can say, okay, that's really common with, like speech regression, really common with aluminum toxicity and with PANS. But there are other things where it really could be a lot of different things, all of the factors contributing. It's basically how the brain, or what part of the brain is being affected most by toxins and inflammation. Motor problems, that one boy who I mentioned a little while ago, who his parents were told he would never speak, and today he's totally speaking, and riding his bike. In the masterclass, I have a picture of him riding his bike because his mom was so thrilled. He could not, he had really poor motor skills. He's 9 years old when she sent me that video. It's a video, but you'll see a still shot picture of him on his bike. And she said, I didn't think he was ever going to be able to ride a bike without stabilizers. He had such poor motor skills, and now he's riding his bike and doing great. So again, it's all of these things together. Tammy, oh wow, I didn't know that. He suffered since birth. It's a process. He hates most veggies and doesn't eat meat. He eats a lot of yogurt, fermented foods, drinks spring water. Didn't realize this about garlic. It helps a lot. Okay, yeah, great. I mean, that's the whole point, is the more education you have, the more knowledge you have about the possibilities for your child and what you can do. Because, the whole point is to take action. Because if you learn all of these things, but you don't do anything with it, then it's not going to help your child. You really want to be able to take action. And that's why I really, really hope that you join the program, because it's the absolute best way I can help you thoroughly and make sure that nothing important gets missed and left out. Elsa, thank you. How about L-theanine to help him sleep? Yeah, theanine can be very helpful. It can be very calming as well. So theanine and melatonin, CBD, those are all good for sleep. Maria, how do I join the masterclass? We covered that. Here again, naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership will take you to the masterclass and the page with the links to join and all the information about that as well. Laura, I have 2 sons who are on the spectrum. One is verbal but can't put sentences together, and they're only sounds. Do you have any advice for me? Yes. So speech issues. He's verbal but can't put sentences together. So here comes my craniosacral background. So there's a part of the brain right here. It's called Wernicke's center. And it is how our brain connects with putting language and words together. You might have days yourself where you go, oh my gosh, I just can't seem to do word recall or get my words out. And it can be because your temporal bones have become faulted out of balance and they have thrown Wernicke's off. And again, it's how the brain is being affected. Now, again, there are other factors, of course, PANS, like if there's having any pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric syndrome, PANS can affect speech and words, but craniosacral, just for something simple to do today, craniosacral therapy can be wonderful for that, helping balance, especially if it's just he's having trouble putting the words together. So along with, of course, working with a diet and other things, you can go to my website and type in craniosacral. And I did a podcast on it, but I also give links to how to find a craniosacral therapist. Now, I graduated from the Milne Institute, and I know that with that website, if you go to practitioners there, they have to have graduated the program to be on the Milne Institute website. There are a lot of people out there that will try to say, not on the Milne site, because that's what I'm telling you, they've graduated, so they should be well educated. You can find them worldwide near you. But there are people who, sometimes other places will say, oh, I've taken a weekend course and I'm a craniosacral therapist. No, you need somebody well educated. So there's a link there on that page. But also, if you go to, on that page is this link, but I'll give it to you now again, and I think I gave it in the masterclass too, naturallyrecoveringautism.com/CS for craniosacral. And I created a short video that where I teach you as a layperson 2 holds that you can do on your child. Now, it might be best for you to do this unless they're totally willing to hold still for you during the day while they're awake. Then you can do it to them then. Otherwise, I suggest, which I used to do with my own kids, climb up into their bed above the pillow with my back against the wall, with my legs straddling their head, doing some cranial work on them while they slept, because I wanted, at night when they were asleep, because they need to be really hold still for it. But there are 2 holds, but I've even had people say, this is great, can you please make more videos? But I won't, because of responsibility. With craniosacral work, you do want to be have an educated person doing it, you want to know what you're doing. In that video, just listen to the things that I say, especially about the temporal bones, because you're working with by holding the ears. Now, anytime you jiggle, you're jarring them. So it's a very slow, gentle hold. That's why when your child is sleeping might be easiest. But that could help just to kind of give you an idea of seeing some things at home before you get scheduled with a craniosacral therapist. But that could be very helpful to definitely or try some craniosacral. And that's one thing you don't have to wait later in the program or later on to do. Craniosacral can be done at any time, like chiropractic can. It can only help. Abile? Is it necessary for my son to have blood work to know what toxins he may have? He's 5 years old, nonverbal. Do you also sell the supplements as well? So I mentioned a little while ago how I think most tests are basically a waste of a lot of time and money, because many are inaccurate, or the body is also detoxifying differently at different times of the day, and different days they're excreting more than others. So a test may or may not show up what's actually going on in the body adequately. And so you can get false negatives and not really learn from them. And tests can be very expensive. And if they're blood tests, they can be traumatic for children as well. So in my program, that's why we work with everything from A to Z naturally and safely. And there are things people want to test, completely up to you. But I deem it like really fairly unnecessary. So the supplements, do I sell? I know there was another part I couldn't remember. The supplements in the program, I do not sell them. What I do is I've researched out what is needed when, and I put them in each piece of the program in a sequential order, because you'll be on just the first few for like a month. That's also why the cost of things is really spread out with them, because I don't want you to buy everything all at once. You don't need everything all at once. You need to slowly be implementing one thing at a time, because we want to allow the body to process the new supplement, have you be able to watch for symptoms and see what, if any symptoms arise, make sure you're not going too fast. So I've researched out what I think are the best of the best, and for each purpose. And I have give you direct links in the program that you literally just can click on. It will take you right to the product. And I work with a lot of companies that, as an associates, getting to know them, they're researchers, interviewing them. And so whenever I can, I ask for discounts or coupon codes to use. And so many times I'm able to offer, with this, use this code for 10% off this product or whatever. And that's all right next to the supplement in the program. And the links are on a supplement guide checklist, a supplement guide. And they're also next to each different video on each page in the member site as well. So they're easy access, easy to find when you need to order it. And then how to use it, which is important too. And letting you know why we're using it briefly. I've kept all of the videos very short. They're under 5 minutes. I don't think there's anyone that's over 5 minutes long. And that's on purpose, because I don't want to add, I give you enough why, but I don't want to add any fluff or fillers or extra. I want to keep it simplified and streamlined. And that is the whole purpose. And on this page, naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership, if you scroll down and you listen to Shannon talks about, for one, how wonderful she is. There are 2 videos Shannon gave us. One of them talks about how her son was nonverbal until he was 5 when she started the program. And she just could not wait for him to say mom for the first time. That was what she wanted more than anything. And she caught it on video. And, oh my gosh, it's like, it gives me the chills. It's so sweet. And she was just like, mesmerized, and now he's talking and he's fine. he was the one who screamed to get on the school bus every day, tantrums, wouldn't, and she just said every day she had her own anxiety when it was time to get him to try to go to school because he just wouldn't. And now he gets on the bus happily and he's, talking and he's happy to get on the bus and in a good mood. Isn't that what we want? Like life to be happier and simpler for everybody. And in the second video, Shannon, on that page, Shannon talks about how these supplements in the program and how I've streamlined it. And that was my purpose. And it's so nice that she says that in that video, because it is what I really strive for, is to try and streamline and keep it as simple as possible, because it's really to take the guesswork out of things for you and take all the research and the other work that you've been trying to do out of it, so you can just implement one thing at a time, slowly and safely, knowing that I've already done the research. I have 30 years background as a craniosacral therapist studying the brain, decades of work working back office with natural doctors, AK doctors, chiropractors, various people who taught me everything before about nutrition and other things, even before my son was diagnosed. Then when he was diagnosed with autism, which is 15 years ago now, he's just 25, he's a college graduate now, that when he was diagnosed, I dove in like I'm sure you're doing now, but I've already done it. And I spent over a decade doing the research. And he all of his symptoms are gone that he once had. So that's what I wanted to do, is just be able to take all of the work that I've done and put it into a program for you, and be able to answer your questions in the forum as they come up for you, because I know how important support is on this journey. And, having somebody ask your questions to, that isn't an additional fee. A lot of people will charge extra for something like that. I know one doctor that charges $100 for a 15-minute phone appointment if you have a question. And you get a whole month in my program for that. It's like, I wanted to keep it. And so far I've strived to keep it as low as I can in monthly, so that it's affordable for everybody. And the supplements are spread out over time. So that helps too. But the program gets results. And especially now I have 4.5 years of the program being out there. There's a testimonial page on my website that you can go to and look at more beyond what's on the membership page, just to show you the possibilities and what has happened for parents. And it happens over and over and over. I just had 2 parents this morning in my membership. I was like in the forum and with them, and they're sharing some things, that there's some strides that their children have made. And these are people who, a lot of them have tried so many years and so many other things, and spent so much money on practitioners that didn't help them. And that was my story as well. And so I do this to help support you, save you the time and the money so you don't have to, so you can hopefully enjoy your life more, and so that you can get the best results that are possible. And every child's level of recovery, the definition being to regain health, is different, but they can improve if you're doing the right things, if you have the right program, the right steps, and you're taking the action. And that's why it's really up to you. But if you're willing to do what you can for your child, and so that's why I'm offering the membership to you now, because I want to help you get the best results. But I really need you in the program to be able to do that, to get the optimum results, because there's a lot to it. But again, you can do this, and I've simplified it one step at a time, but I don't want anything important missed outside. That's what's so important. Okay. Ryan, I'm 34 years old with Asperger's syndrome. Oh, welcome, Ryan. I have a woman who's 35 in the program doing it for herself as well. I'm seeing a little bit more and more of this. It's nice. I live outside of Philadelphia, very far from you, unfortunately. Nope, not a problem because everything is done online. Like I said, I have people in Africa doing this. So location is not an issue at all. You want to be weaned off and tapered off of antidepressants and mood stabilizers safely and soundly, replacing them with all natural. Good for you, Ryan. Um, Such as organic foods, essential oils, fitness. I've been taking Lexapro and um, Depakote. Let's see. Also looked at functional medicine doctors, but no luck. Okay, so Ryan, when you are, and we do have parents in the program who are weaning their children off of medications, but this has to be done with a professional. Okay, so when you're on a prescription drug like these, it has to be done very slowly and very safely with the guidance of a qualified professional. Find somebody who is willing to work with you, because I know sometimes they're not so willing to help you do that. And then the issues behind it, what we want to do is start working with your body as you wish naturally. When the gut starts to heal up, some of the anxiousness and the sleep issues and the, some of the depression issues can lift for sure. Depression is really, really big with mold biotoxins. In fact, a lot of people are being put on SSRIs, serotonin reuptake inhibitor drugs for as antidepressants. When it's found out, if it's found out by regular practitioners, in fact, I'm trying to educate some, and they, when the mold piece is taken care of, like make sure where you live, because I don't know if Philadelphia might, if you live in a building or apartment or wherever you live that might have any mold that you're exposed to, first thing is to eradicate that. You want to get rid of the mold. Mold can really cause a lot of depression. And so once you can remove, again, that cause, then the symptoms can be alleviated. So once you want to remove any mold exposure you might be having, and then work with the right diet and some detox, gut healing supplements, etc. But we want to make sure that you're not having ongoing triggers in your life that keep that problem going. That's what's really important to know too. And in the program, there's a PDF there's a mold page in Module 3 that gives, and in Module 7, that gives you the, how to properly get it eradicated from your home, how to test for it. There's home tests that you can do. But then also, now that it's done some damage to your gut and affected your brain, you need to make sure you clear that up, because the mold biotoxins, the nickname for it is CIRS, chronic inflammatory response syndrome. And that inflammation causes a cascade of inflammation in your body from when you have mold exposure. And not only does it affect your brain, but it affects multiple systems of the body. And as I mentioned here today a little while ago, will keep disrupting the gut integrity. And so the gut can't heal. Yes, there is hope. I'm here to tell you. And I love that you are wanting to get off of those medications and you want to go get back to the natural ways of, alleviating the causes and to alleviate the symptoms, which is absolutely key. But you must work with a qualified professional to very slowly and safely get off of anything that you're on. And it's a process. And it'd be good to do that if you're on like the program and you're doing all of the steps, because your body will then start to be able to work better on its own. So as you're slowly weaning off of the medications, you're actually not having so many of those symptoms that you went on them for in the first place. So that's that nice balance there. But again, this is a process and it does take time. Let's tell everybody, be patient. This takes time, autism recovery and getting optimal results, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, everybody's different. But that there definitely are vast improvements. And, I do as much to educate you and help you as much as I can in this way. And the masterclass I taught for 3.5 hours to give you so much information. Make sure if you missed it or if you want to revisit it at all, please go and watch it today, and join. Again, the link for the masterclass and the enrollment for the membership will only be open until tomorrow night, July 22nd, Thursday night at midnight. And then it'll all go down and enrollment will close. And I would love to have you join the program. It's up to you at this point. What I really encourage you to look at is how much you've been spending, and really how much time you've been spending and how much money you've been spending on the things that haven't really been working for you. The goal is to save you the time and the financial expense by cutting down and streamlining the process. I've already done the research for you, and I'm here to support you. The forum is there to support you. We have a tremendously wonderful community of parents inside the program, and I want to help you get the absolute best results that are possible for your child too. Please join the program. It's the very best way that I can help you, and I want to do that. And I want to see you get the life you can, and your child the life they can, and the independence. Because I mean, really think about what it would be, what your child's life could be like 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, or 30 years from now, or when you're gone. And I know that that's a big concern for a lot of people. And so really doing all you can now is the best, really getting on this the right way. We have, again, a lot of parents that have shared things that about the program that you can read about. I always have to say everybody's level is, results will be different, but the program gets results and it helps people naturally and safely, and it supports you in the process. And I really, really want to help you do that. So I'm going to, looks like I've answered all the questions. So I'm going to end this for now, but I really, really want to thank you so much for being here and being a proactive parent and getting the resources you need to help your child in any way that you can. And please, don't forget to go to the membership page. Read more if you need to about what the program offers you, specifically the 7 modules. We go through gut healing, and then detoxification, and then the co-infections, natural allergy elimination. I mean, we cover it all. So, so you can see what it does there. Pick the option for joining that works best for you. And then, like I said, go ahead and hit submit. And then within 5 minutes, you will have an email in your inbox welcoming you into the program and your login details to get started today. There's no delay, no need to wait for anything. You can get going right away. And if you think, oh, well, I'm having a busy day, don't worry about it. There's no, like I said, there's no keeping up or catching up. But again, the education and the resources you need to do things on your timeline, and just do them in order. Start from the beginning, one thing at a time. You'll see that when you're in there, and understand that again, we've simplified it, streamlined it in a sequence to make it as easy as possible for you. It does take your due diligence, but I know you can do this. Just have faith in yourself too. I mean, basically, you're already doing it, right? So this will help to hopefully simplify that process for you. Thank you again so much for being here. Really, truly appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the program. Go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership and read up and join now. I look forward to seeing you inside. Thanks. Take care.